Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Mental Toughness and Body Show. My name is Rob Evans, and I'm your weight loss coach, health strategist, and internationally published author, helping take your life and your business, your health, fitness, mindset, and body from where you are right now to where it is that you want to be. And I've got a great guest with me today. It's Tain Bartholomew. Welcome, Tain.
How are you, Rob? Good to see you, mate.
Yeah, good to see you. Thanks for joining me on the call today. So Tain is a local real estate agent in my area here. And I thought today we were going to talk about competitive advantage, because real estate it's really interesting. We're going to talk about in a second what's happened since COVID, what we thought would happen, what's actually happened. But Tain brings a lot to the table in terms of competitive difference. And so that's why I've got Tain on the call here today. So Tain, I was wondering if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself. And I know you didn't start out in real estate, but how you got to where you are right now.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Well, I got into real estate in 2007, finished high school 2000, basically worked in hospitality during that time, built my, I suppose, craft and love for working with people. And then once we did that, nice to see the cat walk past there, but
I
it was a great experience to work in hospitality and absolutely love that. Basically, someone said to me, you should get into real estate, looked into it, got into real estate, started as a cadet, worked my way up through the rankings, I suppose, and then became a director of the company about 4 years ago. And gone from strength to strength. Our offices, always floating between 1 and 2 within our local area. Within the Harcourts group in Victoria, we're generally sitting in the top 5, just recently in the top 3. So we've got a really good business and great people that surround us as well, and and fantastic clients that always come back to us, which we're very grateful for.
So one of the things that we were talking about earlier today was just to put this into context in terms of maybe first of all, how many agents are in our area?
Yep. So there's, as in individual sales consultants, there's 290 that sell within our area. So there's quite a few. And then there's 30 agencies within the Pakenham area that service this area themselves. And then I suppose from outer areas, we get in, from Berwick agents to Cranbourne and things like that. There's overall, I think there's 129 agencies that actually work in our area. So look, there's definitely a lot of competition out there. There's no doubt about that.
And just to put that in context, we're in a suburb called Pakenham, which is part of the Cardinia Shire, which I believe it's got about 130,000 residents, I think, in that.
Yep.
So I don't know how many households that you probably got a better idea. How many houses are we talking in the area?
Yeah, we're between 18 and 20,000 homes within our area now. So it's definitely built up. From when I started, there was 7,000. So it's built up quite a lot.
Yeah. So to be, number 1, 2, 3 in our area is a huge achievement in itself. Well done.
Thank you.
I wanted to first perhaps ask you, how have your office, have you gone about building up to that level to start with? Because when you've come into it, obviously you've worked your way up to being director and so forth. What's that road been like?
Yeah, I suppose, when I started in 2007, we were a completely new business. There was no one knew our brand. We were previously MPRE and then converted into Harcourts within the first sort of 12 months of opening. So for us, it was purely just getting our name out there at the start. So it was letterbox drops, it was door knocking, it was cold calling. It was all the stuff that people don't like doing, but probably the hardest job, because it's, you got to do the work without getting any financial reward for it at the start. Yeah. So the first few years were really a challenge. There's no doubt, and I questioned whether I wanted to be in real estate a lot of that time, but you could see that the runs were kicking on, and then we surrounded ourselves with really good staff, and that sort of kicked us on from there. And my business partner now, but my business leader at the time, Peter Blackwood, was a great mentor and helped us grow from there. And for myself, it was just a lot of self-learning, speaking to other top agents within the area and even interstate and internationally, and listening to speakers as much as I can to try and find, I suppose, the way in which I wanted to run my personal business, which then grew into the business that we are now.
Yeah, fantastic. It's been I've known you for a few years, not as probably well as I do now. And you've certainly grown a lot. And I guess you've grown in confidence as well as, the results have also grown. I want to just give the audience that are, around the other parts of the world, a bit of an idea of what's happened with COVID here. So I'll just give you a bit of a backstory for those that may be listening in for the first time. So here in Melbourne, we've been shut down for about 9 months out of the last 16. And obviously that's had a massive impact, which we'll talk about in a second, on your industry.
Yep.
And certainly when COVID first hit, like within the first weeks and months, they were talking about this massive drop that was going to happen in real estate. They were talking about 30% drop in real estate market. People were panicking. There was it was just horrific. But we've come out the other side, and you can talk some of the specifics. But property has just gone through the roof. It's crazy. I mean, I know that property prices in Melbourne are already expensive, but COVID has had not the impact that people were expecting. Firstly, I wanted to talk about maybe the impact on COVID and how you adapted to the first few months there.
Yeah, I guess, I suppose when we first went into lockdown, it was a bit of the unknown of what we're going to do. But I guess to a certain point, we were sort of lucky in the fact that we've seen that New Zealand had gone into a similar sort of thing, and they came out of it, and we could see that their market had really kicked on after that. So we sort of gained a bit of an understanding there that the market was going to be okay. And what we did as a business, we sort of thought was a great opportunity now to pick up market share. So we knew a lot of the other agencies within the area and agents were just watching Netflix and weren't really working through that period. So we hustled. We had to hustle. We've all got mortgages and families to feed, so we couldn't afford to not make money during that time. So we made a lot of phone calls to past buyers. We went back through 2 years worth of buyers database to get them to sell the stock we had on the market at that point in time. And we also called a lot of owners and said, look, it's a great time to sell because there was no competition. And during that stage 4 restrictions where we couldn't even do inspections, we had to do it sight unseen. So we used technology. We upped our skill sets on technology as well. So we use platforms like Zoom and Facebook Live. We do a thing called StreamYard, which you can go live onto your social media as well. They were probably the biggest game changers that we did moving forward, and helped us pick up about 5% market share in that 180 days that we were sort of in that lockdown, floating in and out of stage 3 and 4.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. So tell me just some more specifics, perhaps, about what you specifically did. I mean, don't give away any trade secrets, but what you specifically did during the lockdown, because obviously the nature of your business is, you call, people come into the office, maybe you have a chat, you meet them at the property, all that kind of stuff. But there was a time where we couldn't do face-to-face stuff. And you mentioned about using the technology and stuff there. So could you maybe tell us a little bit more about how you...
So I suppose with buyer inspection, so we weren't even able to go to the property to run a video or anything like that. So we're actually using the owner. The owner would be on a Zoom call. We'd have buyers on that call as well. And the owner would actually walk through the property, ask questions. We'd try to answer it, or even the owner could answer the question, because it was great to be able to do that. But we try and get as many buyers onto that phone call as we possibly could. So if you could have 6 or 7 buyers on that same Zoom call, we found that it was generating some competition. And then we simply, at the end of that phone call, the owner would hang up the phone. The Zoom call would be still running. We just simply ask who would like to make an offer on the property. Just do the little thumbs up symbol on their screen, and people would, and the other people would see that there was someone else making an offer on the property, and was able to generate that competition. And once we did the first couple of properties that we were able to sell, we just gained so much traction from that. And yeah, I suppose it was fantastic. With listing properties, obviously normally we'd go to the home, we'd walk through, we'd have a look at it all. We couldn't do that. So again, we utilized technology. We did Zoom calls. We get a floor plan from the owners. We know our area very well, so they give us the address, tell us how many bedrooms, bathrooms, and who the builder is. We're going to give you a fairly good idea of where the property is going to sell at. So that was really good. We also did a lot of updates. So you want to nurture that database. So for anyone that's in sales, you want to nurture your database as much as you can. So I was just nurturing them, speaking to them a lot about what they were doing, if they were okay, if they wanted an update on their home, what their situation was, and just generally keeping in touch with people. So that was really good moving forward, that when we did come out of lockdown, that database was a lot warmer than what it was. Another thing we did podcasts and Facebook Live similar to this. We did it with a lot of motivational speakers, just to give back to the community. So it wasn't real estate based at all. I was just purely mindset based. So we had mental health coaches, we had local businesses, the bucket list guy. I'm not sure if you've ever seen him before. Travis Bell, Chris Helder. There was lots of speakers that we had that just to give back to the community, I guess, and get a positive message out there, because everything on social media was so negative. Everything was, people are going to lose jobs. The market's going to drop by 20%. Like, it didn't matter what industry you're in, you thought the world was going to end. So we just wanted to try and find a positive spin on that. And it looked, to be selfish, it was great for our mental state as well, because we had to stay positive every day as well.
Yeah, for the team. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Some really innovative ideas there. And then when we did open up a bit, obviously, again, that still had to be different, because it was like only one group at a time, had to sanitize, no touching anything, all that kind of stuff as well. So it's been a really unique period of time, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And look, that was good in that way as well. Look, we just made sure that we backed all the buyers one after the other, sort of thing, so they could see there was competition. And we were still utilizing technology, and we still are at this point in time. Last week, one of the boys sold a house where the owner, the purchaser, is in New South Wales. They just did a Zoom inspection for them, and they still bought the property. So I think a lot of people are used to using technology to its full strength now, and you've just got to maximize that as best you possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's dig into some of the competitive, like your competitive advantage, I guess. You've already mentioned a couple of things there. You know, while people are, you know, sleeping, doing the Netflix thing during lockdown, you're out, you know, hustling and, you know, making a difference and getting that 5% extra.
Yeah.
What do you believe, like if you just stood back from your business for a moment, what do you think is critical to give you a competitive advantage over, you know, all these other 289 people trying to sell properties against you?
I think a lot of it's got to do with belief in yourself and the business that you're in as well. So I know that our team are confident in their abilities, and myself are confident in our abilities. I'm really working on that, but always looking to improve. So whether we are number 1 or number 5 or number 10 in the town, we're always making sure we're looking to improve. So I think for us, that's probably one of the biggest strengths. We're always training with our sales team and our rental department as well. They're always training, so they're always trying to improve. So if we have a record month, we're kind of like, well, it could have been better. And it's always about that improvement sort of thing. And then, you know, even when you go to the gym, you always want to make sure you're lifting heavier weights every time you go. For myself, it's always like make sure that each month we're improving, each year we're improving. So constantly looking and searching to find that way in which our business can improve every single day, week, and year.
So yeah, great advice. With the say the customer service side, like I see that there's a few things that you do differently to anyone else, and you've just mentioned a few there in terms of what you did during COVID and so forth. I don't know what it's like around the rest of the world, but I know Aussies are like tall poppy syndrome and so forth, and like your real estate agents are not highly regarded as a profession. If you compare them to, say, doctors, nurses, especially with COVID, you're right up here. Your real estate agents are, you know, down here.
Second bottom.
Yeah. So obviously, like you work hard to change that perception. And I just discussed with you somebody last week that came to me and said, "Oh, I've had these 3 agents come through." Or 3 that they're considering, and you were one of them. And they said, "Who would you recommend?" And I said, "Well, these are the reasons why I wouldn't recommend these 2. And here's the reasons why I would recommend you." And I said, "Oh, right. Well, okay. Well, I'll get you to do it."
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that. What do you do? Do you think in terms of, I see a lot of difference in customer service, and not being the sleazy salesperson. "Oh yeah, we'll get you the highest price, the best price. No worries, don't worry about that. Just sign here."
I think I suppose salespeople in general probably have a reputation of, you know, being liars, and they'll do whatever they can to get the sale over the line, and they're pushy and all those sort of things. Look, the way we treat it is that we treat people as we want to be treated. So, and the advice that I give to people when they're selling their home or buying their home is the exact same advice which I would give to my neighbor, my family, or my best friends. And just being honest with people and having humility, I think will always be the forefront for our business model and what we do. And we always give to get. So like by sharing information with people and helping people through, I do believe the universe brings it back to you as well. So I think it's just doing the right thing by people is probably the most important thing that we can do, and probably what we do best. And yeah, we do client gifts and we have a bit of fun. And we if someone's going to be putting their house on the market, and I know they've got to do some paint, some walls, I'll go down and buy them a pack of paintbrushes and silly things like that. But just, we want to make sure that people enjoy the experience as well as best they possibly can.
Yeah. And another thing, which I guess is subtle, but also important. Let's talk about this, what you wear. Okay. Because, you and I have talked about this. Obviously I'm dressed the way that I am today for the show. I see the way that some agents are dressed. So, like there's the Century 21 look, which is the gold that's universal around the world, the gold jackets, the tie and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about your strategic choice of what you wear in the office and when you're meeting clients and stuff.
Yeah, so I used to go the suit and tie and things like that as well. I suppose for our demographic as well. And I think that it's changed a little bit. People want someone that's polished and looks sharp, but I don't wear the suit and tie anymore. I've got the jacket on here. I've got a polo one underneath. Still branded. People still know where I work and everything like that. But I've noticed it breaks down a lot more barriers. And this is probably one thing that I learned during the lockdown as well. When I was doing Zoom inspections and Zoom appraisals, my kids would jump up on my lap or and be screaming out for food or drink or anything like that. And I noticed it broke down a lot of the barriers to people as well, to see that I was a real person. And I think that's probably the big thing. I think, and some clients really want the person in the suit. There's definitely no doubt about that. But I think it's just being comfortable in yourself. I like to have a laugh. I enjoy what I do. I love what I do every day for work. There's no doubt about that. But I want people to feel comfortable with who I am as well. And, I feel most comfortable this way as well. And I've noticed that my clients probably relate to me a lot better as well if I'm not wearing a suit.
I think it's an interesting observation that you've made in terms of, the demographic for our area. Yep. We've got some $1 million plus properties here. We've also got some really low ones, and we've got, like some housing commission type housing here as well. I think if you were, say, selling the $50 million mansions, then you'd probably ditch the polo and you'd go for the suit and tie because the client expects that. So I think it's really.
I just leave the Ferrari at home on those days.
Yeah. I think it's good how you've adapted that to to your audience so that they don't feel so intimidated and.
Yeah. I think people just want to deal with real people. I think there's a lot of fake in the world, and we just try and bring some, as I said, humility and genuine to everything that we do.
One of the things I also wanted to talk to you about was the teamwork. I know that it's super competitive, like amongst officers, but it's also super competitive amongst, I should say, amongst your own office when I say officers.
Yeah.
But it's also very competitive against the different agents, and the egos can be very big and all that kind of thing. When it comes to you, because you're a director, an owner in the business, so your lens kind of changes a bit. You're no longer just, okay, how many sales can I get? I've got to give some to the team, and how you go about building that teamwork in the office. Could you maybe just paint a little bit of a picture of, like how many people in the office that you're accountable for and growing that team and how you go about doing that?
Yeah, definitely. So as far as our team goes, there's 23 people within the office. There's rental and admin in that. Of the sales team, we've got 7 sales agents out there listing and selling every day. So yeah, when I was just a sales consultant at the start, it was pretty much about me, and I wanted to make sure that I was generating income for myself and building my name and my reputation. Whereas now, like I really enjoy helping my team. Like yesterday, we just did a big goal setting session with all the sales consultants, knowing what they want to achieve, what they want to earn for the year, and breaking it down into micros, I guess, so you can figure out how many calls they need to be doing each day, how many door knocks, letterbox drops, emails, thank you cards. What do they need to be doing each day to be able to achieve their goals? So I really, really enjoy that. We call them the gorillas, when you have the top performing sales consultants that literally don't care about anybody else. They just care about themselves. We've had them, and they're not great for business. They might look good on the bottom line at the time, but they don't really generate a great culture. And I think within our culture, within our business, like every one of our sales consultants will help each other out. Be it they can't meet a buyer at this time or needs to do a final inspection, meeting a bank valuer to go to the property or building inspection, just any little thing like that. I know our team will help each other out, and that's something that we're really proud of. We know that if we work as a team, we're all going to achieve our common goal together as well.
I think I love what you've said there. So many points. It's almost like people need to see this in slow-mo. So because you mentioned so many different points there. But you mentioned a bunch of them so quickly because it's just like stuff you do every day. But you went to talk about making basically reverse engineering. Like if this is what you want to make, this is how many leads you need to get. This is how many mailbox drops you need to do. This is how many cold calls you need to be making.
Yeah.
And like you said at the start, no one likes to do that stuff.
Yeah.
But if you want to be successful, it's not just in real estate, it's anything. You've got to be prepared to do that stuff that's really a bit uncomfortable and you don't really like it.
Yeah, that's like we have a bit of a saying, like if especially if they go to the gym and things like that, any of the sales consultants, like you don't just do one sit up and then look at your abs and goes, where's my six pack? Like it's not about instant reward. It's about just being consistent and doing the same thing every single day. And when you do that and you do the right things every single day, it's like anything, whether business or health, you just have to be consistent with it. And if you get consistency, you'll get success.
Yeah, beautifully said. Now, I wanted to ask you about then the growth of you and the growth of your office, because you said you're number 3 at the moment.
Yeah.
So getting to number 1, like if that's like, it may not be a goal of yours, but I assume it is, knowing you. So getting to that number 1, as I said before, about the egos in this industry can be really big, and you can feel like, I know everything and I'm not going to seek help. I'm just going to keep pushing and hope I get listings to get to number 1. But you don't do that, because we've talked about a few different things that you do, like with the, like your leading office.
Yep.
And, you said you had that trip to Ballarat and learning from other agencies and that kind of stuff. Maybe just talk a little bit about that. So I think it's really important that people can understand that it's okay and really necessary to learn from others by, getting the coaching, but also going to your competitors, going to people that have got more experience and more success than you.
Yeah, definitely. Look, a lot of our team will, and I think if there's any managers and stuff, I suppose, watching, like you have to find someone that's going to connect to those salespeople. So we've had an abundance of trainers, but if it's the wrong voice going to your team, they're not going to listen. So it's about finding someone that they're going to be able to relate to and understand and get some value from. So we've done hundreds of different speakers that we've seen, and there's probably maybe 5 that the team really connected to, but some people connected with that person and others didn't completely. So I think look at other people within your industry, but also outside of your industry. Like we talk to other business owners that have got really successful businesses within the area, being at restaurants or anything like that, and understanding what they do. So we've got a local business in the area, Shanikas. Their customer service is unbelievable. And we try to emulate that. We want people to have a fantastic experience when they deal with Harcourts like they do it at Shanikas. And then, learning from other businesses. So we did go to Ballarat. It's a competitor there. Obviously not in our area at all, so there's no conflict of interest or anything like that, but just to see how they run their business. And my team were absolutely blown away by that. Ballarat for us is about a 2.5-hour drive each way. So it was 5 hours in the car, but what the team got from that was absolutely fantastic. And I can see the difference in a couple of our agents already just from that one-day meeting. So I think don't be afraid to ask for help. And I think I'm yet to meet a successful person that isn't happy to help out someone.
Yeah.
That's why they're successful, is because most people want to help each other out. And I think that's the great thing. I think, and it's amazing. You can see people that are absolutely top line in their businesses. The amount of times they get asked, how did you get there? Can you give me any advice? That question doesn't get asked enough. And I think people should ask that question more.
Yeah. Super powerful points there. I think, you hit it on the head there. You've got to keep on looking for opportunities in businesses that have got nothing to do with yours, but taking away those things. Like I love studying success. And so I've read some great books over, the last few months, one on Disneyland, customer
Yeah.
service. One
Yeah.
on Mercedes-Benz, which I'm working through at the moment, the Mercedes-Benz customer service, the Carlton Ritz,
Yeah.
Ritz-Carlton, sorry, I think it is
Yeah.
Ritz-Carlton,
Yeah.
Starbucks, organizations like that have nothing to do with what I do, but we all are customer service. And if we can
Yeah.
find ways to pull out those bits that, oh, wow, that's so powerful.
Yeah, we did actually did a Disney training session years ago within the Harcourts group, and that was phenomenal. They've got a great mentality on what they want to do and create, and the culture they have within the business as well. So, and that's a big thing of it as well, is creating a great culture within your business.
Yeah.
And little points of difference, like we always talked about the fact of the taxi industry getting absolutely smashed because of Uber. Blockbuster Video has been wiped out because they didn't adapt and change.
Yeah.
So we're always looking at ways in which we can adapt and change, and technology is probably one of the biggest things that's going to change every industry. So you have to be at the forefront, knowing what those changes are going to be, and make sure that you're quick to adapt.
Yeah, so you don't get left behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done. Look, brilliant stuff. I've got some rapid fire questions I'm going to ask you in a second to have a bit of fun with you. But look, you've just added so much value there today, and I really appreciate your time. It's a Saturday afternoon here. I know that you're about to go home and spend some time with the family. But maybe in closing out this part of the conversation, having brought up family, one of the differences that I see in the way that you run your business, which leads to the competitive advantage, and I'm sure you see it, but I see it bigger from the outside looking in, is the culture that you have developed in Harcourts, and how that's so important, because I had been inside other agencies in your same field, in our area, and they don't have a great culture. And that leads to a lot of churn. It doesn't lead to good relations, and it's just not good.
Yeah.
And I think with that culture that you've developed, there is that focus on family as well.
Yeah.
And I think just like in the way that I do it too, like I say, when people come to work for me, you're part of my family.
Yeah.
And I think people see that with you too. So they won't just buy one house off you or sell a house off you. They'll, through you, they'll do it multiple times because they've got that relationship with you. So maybe give us your perspective on family, where your focus is on that, and just, some words on culture.
Yeah, I think one thing, we all work for our families. It's as simple as that. The reason why we get up out of bed and go to our jobs and create an income is for our families. So without doubt, and I say this to all of my staff, your family comes first. So that's probably our biggest thing we'll always say. And the great thing with technology, again, people can work from home. So if there's sick kids or anything like that, they can do that. After school, there's often a few of the kids that run around the office and things like that from our staff members. We love that. We love the fact that they can bring their kids in, and we'd like to know, who their kids are and what they're up to, and creating that sense of family culture. And I think within our team as well, it's about making sure that we understand each other, we're respectful of each other. We don't do a heap of socializing inside or outside of work. We like to spend your time with the family. I think that's important as well. I think some companies spend so much time together that's when in-house fighting can create. And we've had that before, where we've all been probably too close. So I think it's good to have you separate, that you've got your work family and then you've got your family. And as I said, family always comes first.
Because the hours that you work are obviously really different. They're certainly not a 9 to 5 or an 8 to 6 or anything like that, just because of the nature of, it's the weekend. That's when you have inspections. People are finishing work late. That's when they want to, speak to you on the phone and that kind of stuff. So, you work very hard. You work a lot of hours, but I think, when you're with your family, you're with your family.
Yeah, that's it. It's important to switch off at that time. And it is a challenge. It's something that we always talk about, we always struggle with, and we have our wins and losses with finding that work-life balance. There's definitely no doubt about that. And I think, now I've had kids, it's been even more important to make sure that I do have that work-life balance and have that time, with the family. And when we do have that time, it's, don't be checking your phone for emails and phone calls and everything like that. It's making sure you're actually connected to your family at the time as well.
And I think that the other thing that you do well is, you're building your own wealth. You're building your own, real estate portfolio. You've got, you showed me the pictures today. You're traveling around Australia in the new van, and so forth. So you've got goals outside of the business, which I think is also obviously really important, so that I don't know, I think it just gives you a wider perspective in life, and you can also bring that back to your business in a bit more, a bit more balance.
Yeah, I've always sort of thought that if you don't have a target, what are you aiming for? So why are you getting up every day to go to work? Yes, you're going to provide for your family, but there's got to be something more there that's got meaning to it. So, and there's got to be reward for your hard work as well. So yeah, that the travel around Australia goal, pretty much the day that Asta, my daughter, was born, I said, this is going to be the year that we want to go around Australia, is 2025. Buying investment properties, and we've got a holiday house. All these things have been things that I've written down for a long time. I look at my goals all the time. They're actually behind me there, written wrong shoulder, that one there, but they're always there. I've always got my goals written in front of me, and they're on my mirror in my ensuite as well. I write down weekly goals on there, or just thoughts of, or be it affirmations or whatever they are. It's something that I've always done. I think that if you do not goal set, then you're missing a massive
Stay where you are.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, Tain. Okay, you ready? You're strapping yourself in for these questions.
Let's do it.
All right, so I've got 9 questions for you. The most impactful book you've ever read?
I'd say You Inc. by John McGrath.
Okay. You Inc. as in Y-O-U?
Yeah, Inc. Yep.
All right. A place you've never been to but would love to visit?
Well, COVID shut down my honeymoon, and I was meant to go to the Maldives. So the Maldives would be definitely top of that with my wife.
Yeah, sweet. All right. Okay, so you're on a deserted island.
Yep.
And you can only bring one thing with you. What would that be?
A teleportation machine.
Do you know, I've asked a couple of people this, and no one said their wife.
Yeah. Well, you said thing, not person.
Well, that could be a thing. Favorite food?
Pasta.
Pasta. What sort?
Bolognese. Just anything with some good carbs in it. I'm pretty happy.
Okay. What's your most useless talent?
Useless talent. God, I don't know. I'm the useless dancer. That'd be probably that.
No, you've got to have a talent. Everybody's got some talent. Mine's probably doing the Rubik's Cube. I can't do much with that. It's a fairly useless talent.
Honestly, I don't have any special little talents like that. I'm pretty vanilla like that.
Oh, there we go. We'll have to add that to the list of goals.
We'll find it.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
Biggest pet peeve. Oh, you should have given these questions. I could have got some more thought into it. Probably just rude, unhappy people.
Yeah.
It's just, I think, life drainers. We'll call them those. The ones that just suck the life out of you.
Yeah. We didn't talk about this, but I know you and I have spoken about those toxic people, and taking action to make sure you don't have those in your life.
Yeah, that's
right. So the Tokyo Olympics, hopefully they're going to go ahead in a couple of weeks' time.
Yep.
So if you were going to be a gold medalist,
yep,
in any sport at the Olympics, which sport would you pick?
Have they got surfing at the Olympics yet? Because that'd be good.
Actually, I think they might have that. Do they have that? I'm thinking of what's her name? Rebecca Gilmore. Is that the name of the Aussie swimmer? Steph Gilmore. Yeah. I don't know. It might be. So surfing. Yeah, I know you like surfing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if you've got a boat,
yep.
Right, I'm thinking big fancy one. What would you call it? What would you name it?
I was going to say Marina, my wife's name, but
I was thinking that Marina in the Marina.
That's it. Yeah, probably Marina, I reckon.
Yeah. All right. Nice. Okay. If you could be any celebrity, the living or dead, who would it be, and why?
I'd probably go either Hugh Jackman or David Grohl from the Foo Fighters.
Oh, I don't know who that is, but okay.
All right. Yeah.
So
maybe like a Mick Fanning. It depends. Yeah.
The surfer. Yeah. Okay. Why the guy from the Food Fighters? What is he's a singer? Is he or?
Yeah, he is. So he was in Nirvana and he's in the Foo Fighters as well. He's just I don't know, he just seems like a really good bloke and he's very talented at what he does and looks like he has a lot of fun with his life and he's very humble. And I think that's it's really important.
Yeah, cool. Well, actually, I've got a 10th one.
Yes.
Are you going? This could be controversial. Are you going to have a COVID vaccine?
Well, yes.
You are.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure which one though. Not sure which one. That's the $1 million question at the moment. But yeah, I do think. Look, if it's going to be to the benefit of everybody else, I think it's well worthwhile to do.
Yeah, cool. Well done. You escaped all those questions unscathed. Apart from,
I got to find his hidden talent, mate.
Your hidden talent. Hey, Tain, I want to thank you for taking the time out today. You've added some really great value to our audience today. So thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you soon.
No worries, mate. Thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
No worries.